As per usual, Des gives me a request and I'm like, yes, and I'm gonna do this as well. So technically Des requested my like favorite Christmas or holiday horror that I don't get to talk about enough. And I've definitely included those movies in this list, so I think it still technically counts. So the whole idea for this video, it being the weekend before Christmas, and many of you might be with your families right now, maybe you've traveled or they've traveled to you. So if your family gives you the remote this weekend, this holiday, you can put on these holiday themed horror movies to make your relatives do the Kevin McAllister scream. I think the perfect bomb to throw into like any family gathering just to like cause chaos is to trick everyone into watching a holiday horror that's actually about climate change. So Silent Night from 2021, because there are so many movies named Silent Night now, takes place during a dinner party where an ambiguous apocalypse is nigh and the British government has issued suicide pills to take ahead of the impending doom. The movie features a cast of characters that are so insufferable or barely tolerable, which is oftentimes a thing with holiday get-togethers with your relatives, right? And as a bonus effect for showing your family this movie, you will likely find out once and for all, if you didn't know already, which of your family members believes in climate change or not. Next is The Lodge, which follows two kids who are left in their family's remote cabin with their dad's new girlfriend when a blizzard rolls in and traps them. This one is fun because there is a lot of religious trauma in this movie. I think religious trauma tends to be a big thing around the holidays. and it very much fits this festive and appropriated season. And it also might scare your younger relatives into behaving after watching this movie in which two kids fuck around and then find out. Dead End is a movie that I think people are finally coming around to. I feel like I've seen it talked about more this year than I have any other holiday season within the horror community, which is good because Dead End is a great little holiday horror that depicts my least favorite part of the holiday season, which is the travel aspect, especially when it's a long drive. I feel like those long car rides just tend to bring out the worst in everyone, or maybe it's just the worst in me. Anyways, Dead End follows a family on their way to a Christmas Eve party when they take a back road which sets off a series of eerie events. It's very urban legend coded, very time loopy, and just overall creepy, and it very much reflects the way I feel on these long car rides. Bringing it back to more disturbing winter horror movies, The Black Coat's Daughter. This movie follows a young woman who hitchhikes to an isolated boarding school where two stranded students face an unseen evil force. This is the movie you put on when you kind of just want to bring the whole vibe down of the family function. Like maybe everyone's getting a little bit too rowdy, maybe politics has been brought up a little bit too much. Make everyone sit down and watch this and it'll shut them up. Because there's not a single cheerful thing about this movie. It is bleak, it is disturbing, it is so cold, and it's fucking delicious. I love this movie. It's definitely one that I've recommended to many of my friends, and then afterwards I get very angry text messages about it because the movie is such a downer. I'll end this on a lighter note with one holiday horror movie that I will talk about with anyone if anyone gives me the opportunity to do so, and that is Rare Exports. Rare Exports is a Finnish movie that takes place in an isolated town where a young boy discovers the secret behind Santa and his elves. I always like to keep my description of this movie vague in case somebody watching hasn't seen it, and I feel like there's always people out there that haven't seen Rare Exports yet, and I think the less you know about this movie going in, the better. But it is a really fun holiday movie actually, with a weird kind of twist. It's a little bit bizarre, especially by the end. Like, be prepared for a lot of questions from your family if you show them this. And if you've already seen it, I still recommend showing it to your family that haven't seen it because it's always fun to see people's reactions as the film goes on. So there you have it. Those are my favorite super disturbing winter horror movies that I feel like don't get talked about enough. They definitely don't get talked about enough, I think, in all of the holiday horror lists that crop up every year on the internet. All the listicles, you know what I mean. Share your faves in the comments, any holiday horror movies that you feel like don't get talked about enough. Give some people some watch list inspiration for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can check out my most recent video before this one, my list of the most iconic horror characters of this past year, 2023. I will also see you again on Monday with my most anticipated horror books of the year. And of course, after that will be most anticipated horror movies of the year. So until then, stay strange and have a safe holiday and a safe weekend. Bye.